Hello and welcome to the colorful pop-up card for the January 2022 Sweet Talk virtual class. This is our last project of class and I can't wait to show you how to make it. So let's go. We are starting out by cutting a piece of Whisper white cardstock to measure 3 inches by 4.5 inches. And then we're going to do some scoring. So the first score line is going to be on the long edge at 1/2 inch. And then you're going to score it in the middle at 2.25 inches. And then you're going to score it 1/4 inch on each of the short edges. If you work better with a diagram or a blueprint, you can go to the coordinating blog post, and I have put a picture with the measurements there for you to reference. Now we're going to take our snips and we're going to cut out a triangle from the middle score line. We're going to angle cut each of the corners. Again, you can reference the diagram on the blog post or see where I am cutting in the video to reference that. After we're done making these trims, we're going to take our bone folder and we're going to crease the score lines. So just fold on every line and crease it. Now, all of the vertical lines you want to crease in towards itself, and the other creases where they are horizontal, where the flaps are, you want to crease the opposite direction. Don't crease it how you see me doing it in the video, because I did crease it the wrong way and I had to fix it later. Now for the crumb cake card base. This is a standard card base cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4.25. We're going to fold that in half and crease that score line as well. We're going to bring back that piece of white cardstock that we cut and folded earlier, and on the 1/4 inch tabs, you're going to tear a little bit of tear-in tape and use that to adhere it. I really like using tear-in tape because it's a very strong adhesive, especially for a 3D project like this pop-up card, but you can definitely use some Stampin' Seal. I would just double up on it. If you do use the tear-in tape adhesive and you have some hanging over the edges, just tuck those back onto itself so that you don't have any loose adhesive that can stick your card closed on itself. Now that our pop-up mechanism is ready, we can start with the stamping. I am using the Mostly Solid stamp to stamp a whole bunch of hearts all over this scrap piece of paper. The hearts in your kit are already cut out for you, so all you need to do is stamp them. You could use several different colors. You could get really creative with it to match the DSP on the outside of the card. I went ahead and just used the Real Red ink as you see here. For the sentiment inside the card, I used the StazOn ink and the Love You conversation heart. I stamped that on a scrap of Whisper white cardstock. Again, this piece is already cut out for you in your kit. I ran that piece through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I absolutely, again, I can't recommend this little machine enough. It is super adorable and really convenient. I used a piece of washi tape to help hold that die in place to make sure that it didn't move when I was running it through. You won't have to worry about that for your kit, but the washi trick is a really helpful tip for cutting other dies. After you have your hearts all stamped, I used some glue dots to adhere them together. Now, some of the methods to put this together maybe work better than others. This is how I did it. I took some glue dots on my first heart and I put them on the right-hand side of the heart. Then I stacked the hearts on top of each other, and you want to try to make sure that there's no extra adhesive on the back side of the hearts so that it doesn't stick to your card when it's folded. I did 3 hearts stacked on top of each other for the left side of the pop-up box, and then I did 2 plus the conversation heart on the right side of the box. Just a little tip when you are going to put these hearts onto the box, put the adhesive on the right side of the stamped item. And before you commit to gluing it down, make sure that it's going to fold nicely and it's not going to smash or fold your inside designs when you fold the card in half. Depending on where it's placed, if you place it closer to the seam of the box in the middle, it will give you the best chances to not get it smashed when you close the card. Now you're going to take the included ribbon and you're going to cut it into approximately 2-inch sections. You just want them long enough so that you can glue them together in half and then put a glue dot on those so that they're just a little bit of fun pop behind the hearts in your box. So you should have enough for 3 of these little sections, and then just tuck them around under the hearts, behind the hearts, inside the box. And again, you want to make sure that you're careful that when you fold the card, it doesn't fold the ribbon also. So angle it towards the center of the box and try and keep it a little bit closer towards that center. Now it's time for the DSP. I already cut this to size for you in your kit, but if you are doing this layout on another card, we're going to trim this piece down to 4 inches by 5¼ inches. Next up, you're going to need a piece of Whisper White cardstock for the mat, and that needs to measure 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I have cut down the piece for you in your kit, but you will need to trim it to the 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 measurement. Now that the DSP is cut, put some Stampin' Seal on the reverse side and you can adhere it to your white card mat. Next up, we're going to take the sentiment from the stamp set and you're going to stamp it onto the white tag that I have already cut out for you. You can see here I am stamping first and then cutting my tag. I'm again running it through the amazing mini machine, and once I have that done, I can go ahead and start to embellish the little tag to go onto the front of our card. I'm using the included red hearts with some mini glue dots, and I'm going to sprinkle those hearts in a triangular pattern around the sentiment on the white tag. I'm using my snips to carefully scoop underneath the heart where the glue dot is, and that makes it so easy to be able to place these with very precise detail. Next up, we're going to grab some of those beautiful iridescent rhinestones and sprinkle a couple of those onto this tag as well. I did include these in your kit. You should see them to put onto your tag. I also have included a small piece of the linen thread. You're going to double it up and take the loop end, run it through the hole on the tag, and then pull the tails through that loop and then pull that tightly. Once you have that tied, we're going to tie a very small bow with the tails. After you get your bow tied and how you like it to look, we're going to adhere this to the front of the card using some Stampin' Dimensionals. It goes right in the middle of the card. I like to use several Stampin' Dimensionals just to make sure that it stays puffed up, so I'm using 4 of those dimensionals on the back of this tag. Now we're ready to adhere the DSP and the white card mat to the front of our crumb cake card base. I'm using Stampin' Seal on all 4 edges as well as a strip in the middle just to make sure that it holds really well. You could also use liquid adhesive or the Terran tape. And here is our finished pop-up card. I really hope that you enjoy how this card turned out, and I would love to see any future cards you made using this same technique. Don't forget to head over to the coordinating blog post if you haven't already to make sure that you download all of the free goodies that I have included in this class. Thank you so much for visiting and for signing up for our Sweet Talk virtual class for January of 2022. And I really hope to see you in the next class.